I must sell on Amazon. But where should I start? Hi, my name is Shak and I'm an Amazon seller. I sell private label on Amazon in the past 2 years, and this video is dedicated for people who want to start selling on Amazon but don't know where to start. I know that it can be really confusing at first because there is a lot of information out there, a lot of YouTubers, a lot of Instagrammers and people who sell on Amazon, but they have like different models, different lifestyles from different countries, and it's hard to figure out like how can we do it specifically. I know that also there aren't like a lot of people in real life that are doing this, so maybe there's no one that you can ask in private. I will try to provide in this video like the base from where you can fly safely wherever you want. Okay, so let's start. First thing will be to choose a business model. There are a few business models for selling on Amazon. The main ones are private label, wholesale, retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, and dropshipping. Although all the business models are for selling on Amazon, there are huge differences between them, and different business models requires different initial funds and different skills and different time. For example, when people do dropshipping on Amazon, they barely need any initial fund compared to private label or wholesale that we need like thousands of dollars to start. The business models also can differ like in day-to-day life. For example, when people do retail arbitrage, they go to Target and Walmart and they just scan products and they go physically to the shops and buy inventory, compared to other business models when people just purchase inventory online. So first step will be, in my opinion, to choose a business model. The business model we start in won't be necessarily the business model we will eventually be in. We can start from one and go to another. I know that a lot of people love to start in dropshipping or arbitrage, where you need less initial funds, and then from the profits they make, they save money, and then they do wholesale or private label. So that's like one idea. I started a private label only because I watched people who are doing private label. After I did private label for I think 6 months, I realized that there are more business models, and maybe I would start in a different one if I knew it back then, because it required me a lot of money to start in, and that was money like that I didn't have and I had to work for. So looking back, maybe I would start in a different business model. So I think it's good to have this information right from the beginning. So choose a business model. Next step will be understanding our financial situation. So we talked about different models that requires different initial funds. So now it's time to talk about the money we have or don't have. There are some who will prefer to choose a business model, depends on the money they have, and there are some who will prefer to first choose a business model and then do whatever it takes to save the money for it. I first chose a business model, private label, and after that I figure out how I'm saving money for it. I personally think that in my situation I should have do like the opposite, because there were times where money was tight because I was a student and I worked, but still like I spend a lot of money on inventory, so I worked like extra shifts and I worked night shifts, and I worked a lot just to handle my inventory sheet, and it was really tiring. Maybe if I would know how much money do I need in the beginning, I would like postpone it in half a year, so I wouldn't be like tight on money, and then in this 6 months I would save money for it. So different business models requires different initial funds. If you know which business model you want to sell in, go and find out how much money you need. There is a tendency that people say you need less money than you really will need, because they say like the ideal situation, but in real time like you spend more than the ideal situation. So for example, in private label, people say you need like $3,000 to start a business, and that's also something that I said, but like in real life we need maybe a little bit of more, because if you order more samples, or if you order like more quantity, or if you just made like lots of mistakes with the advertising, then you will spend more money than the ideal situation. So that's one thing to figure out, our financial situation. Next step will be understand our sacrifices. So I'm assuming that if you know you want to sell on Amazon, then maybe you saw like a bunch of TikTok videos, or maybe YouTube videos, or maybe you know someone personally. But in most cases, we see really a lot of good things about Amazon, and then we want to start selling on Amazon. For me, I know I saw a lot of nomad lifestyle videos and people who like are in Thailand and drink shakes and work with their computer on the beach, and I was like, oh my god, yeah, I want this kind of life. So after we bought the dream, it's time to understand what this dream requires from us. One thing that I do in order to achieve it is to watch videos about the darker side of Amazon. So there are a lot of videos about how much time you need until you get like real profit on Amazon, why Amazon FBA is dead, Amazon failure stories. Starting a business is an investment, and every serious investor knows the risk he takes. So I think that this is the thing that we need to figure out. What are the risks we take? So I think this step is super important, because think about it, that the social media world is really biased towards like the good things, and it's not necessarily how our business will be in the first years. For me, for example, I spent thousands of dollars until I saw like any profit. I have a video I did about it, I will link that down below, but the point of it is that we don't know when we will see the real money, and we don't know when we can schedule the next vacation, so we need to know that we are up for the good things and up for the bad things. Okay, next step will be self-brainwash. So before we like do this first step and maybe buy a course or maybe like watch free tutorials, I think that the step to do is to brainwash ourselves with lots of Amazon content. That's important in my opinion, because selling on Amazon is not like a hot topic in day-to-day life. Maybe it's not something that our friends or family will talk about. It's not something that we will hear on work. So filling ourselves with content on Amazon is something we need to do by ourselves manually, in order to understand better this world, in order to realize who we can trust and who not, and just to understand better what we are getting into. A way to do it is to start listening to Amazon podcasts, maybe on our way to work, or maybe when we're cleaning the house or cooking, and of course subscribing to YouTube channels of sellers who sell in the same business model that we want to sell, or just people that we trust and motivate us. And also I love joining Facebook groups, because like it's more a shared platform. So when we watch YouTube or podcast, then it's more passive, I guess, and when we are in groups, then we can comment and we can ask, and it's more interactive. So join Facebook groups about selling on Amazon, maybe even local Facebook groups in your country. Okay, next step will be understanding how we want to learn it. There are people who succeeded and took courses, and there are people who succeeded and did not take courses. I know that most of people will tell you that taking a course is mandatory, but it's not. In my opinion, it's not for everyone. And also think about it, the people who are selling you courses, they succeeded without their courses. So there is really no one way to do it. It really depends on you and how you are. I myself took a super affordable course. It was Adam Fisher's course. He has like a YouTube channel. I don't think like he's uploading YouTube now, but he once did, and he did like a really cheap course. I paid I think $100 back in that time, and it was really good for me. After that, I paid for a mentor, because I thought that I don't know enough. Eventually, the cheap course that cost me like, I don't know, 2% of what I paid for the mentor was a better decision for me than taking a one-on-one mentor. A good way to figure out what suits for you the best, in my opinion, is to go and watch videos that called one-on-one step for dropshipping, or for wholesale, or for private label. This video will be long. They are really long videos, and people just show you like step by step what they are doing. Don't just watch this video and go and do that. It won't be sufficient, but it will give you a better understanding for what the way will be. And that way, watching this video will help you to understand if that's a way that will be okay for you, or maybe you're just a bit overwhelmed and you want to do a course, or maybe you will start by yourself and just, book a one-on-one coaching calls with a mentor you love. So there are a lot of ways to do that. You need to figure out by yourself what works best for you. Okay, the next and the last step will be set goals. Okay, so this is the last and the most exciting step to take, in my opinion. You can even do that now in the end of this video. I think that at the beginning, how much money you're going to make kind of goals, it's not really relevant. because you don't have like a grasp of how it really is. My goals were super unrealistic. I think I had like earning X dollars on Amazon in the first year, and I overall think that first product is not for earning, it's for learning. I really think that way. I don't think there are a lot of people who bought houses with their first product, and I don't think it's a good thing to pressure yourself that your first product will make you a billionaire. So I think that setting up time goals is more reasonable and will help you to move faster. So these kind of goals can be maybe when you are going to start a course, or maybe when you are going to launch your first product or purchase your first inventory. If you already know when you want to launch your first product, then please comment it in the comments, and I will try to ask you when the time will arrive if you really launched this product or not, so I can be like accountable for it. So if you want to do that, and if you don't want to write in the comments, maybe just tell your friends or family so someone can be accountable for it, so you will feel like a tiny bit of pressure to do it. So in a couple of minutes I'm going myself also to write down in the comments when I'm going to launch my fourth product, so you can be accountable for it also. Okay, so that's it basically. I think that we covered like the really basic thing we need to know in order to start and learn this fascinating world. If you have any questions, please ask. I will see you in the comments.